I never imagined that the people who smiled in every family photo would one day decide my children weren't worthy of sitting at their Thanksgiving table. My name is Emma. I'm 36 years old, married to my husband Daniel for 12 years, and we have 2 beautiful children. Our oldest daughter, Lily, is 9. She has cerebral palsy and uses a wheelchair. Our son, Noah, is 7 and autistic. Loud noises overwhelm him, but he's the sweetest little boy you'll ever meet. To me, they aren't disabled. They're just my kids. But to my husband's family, they were an inconvenience. I wish I could say I didn't see it coming. The signs had always been there. Whenever family gatherings happened, my mother-in-law, Carol, would sigh dramatically whenever Noah covered his ears. Oh dear. Is he going to have another episode? Not meltdown. Not sensory overload. An episode. Like he was some dangerous animal. Then she'd glance toward Lily. Poor thing. Such a shame she can't run around with the cousins. I hated those comments. Daniel always whispered afterward. She's old-fashioned. Ignore her. So I did. For years. Every Thanksgiving we hosted. Every Christmas I bought presents for every single person in his family. Every birthday. Every anniversary. Every graduation. I never forgot anyone. Because that's who I am. What nobody realized was that I was also the reason this family functioned. Carol had arthritis. Every Tuesday after work, I drove 40 minutes to clean her house. For free. I cooked freezer meals for her. Picked up prescriptions. Scheduled doctor's appointments because she didn't understand computers. My father-in-law Frank had diabetes. Guess who researched meal plans? Guess who drove him to eye appointments? Guess who sat with him during his colonoscopy because Carol couldn't handle hospitals? Me. Daniel's younger sister Melissa was a single mom. Whenever she wanted a girls' night, guess who babysat? Whenever daycare closed, guess who rearranged work? Whenever she couldn't afford school supplies, guess who quietly paid? Me. His younger brother Jason constantly borrowed money. $500 here. $800 there. I'll pay you back. He never did. I kept spreadsheets. By Thanksgiving last year, Jason owed us almost $11,000. Daniel didn't even know, because I told him not to make it awkward. I believed family helped family. Apparently, that belief only worked one way. It all exploded 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. Carol created a family group chat. Everyone was excited. Melissa wrote, "Can't wait." Jason replied, "I'm bringing pumpkin pie." Frank added turkey emojis. Then Carol sent the address. It wasn't her house. She'd rented a beautiful countryside lodge. Then another message. "Adults only this year." I frowned. "Adults only?" Melissa immediately texted, "What about my kids?" Carol answered, "Of course not yours, sweetheart. The cousins should all be together." I blinked. Then Melissa responded, "Oh, okay. Wait, her kids were invited." My fingers froze over my phone. I typed carefully. "So, are Lily and Noah invited?" Nothing. 5 minutes. 10. Finally Carol answered. "I was hoping we'd discuss that privately." My stomach dropped. I called her immediately. She answered cheerfully. "Hi, Emma." "What do you mean?" Silence. Then she sighed dramatically. "I don't want you to misunderstand." Then explain. "The lodge isn't really appropriate for wheelchairs." Well, and Noah. It's just Thanksgiving should be peaceful. Peaceful. I felt my blood boil. They're children. I know. They're your grandchildren. I know. Then what exactly are you saying? Another sigh. The other children get uncomfortable. No, they don't. They ask questions. They're children. It's stressful. For who? She didn't answer. Instead, she quietly said, "I think everyone deserves one holiday without worrying. Without worrying. About my children." I hung up. I sat in my kitchen staring at the wall while Noah colored dinosaurs beside me. Lily rolled over in her wheelchair. "Mom." I looked at her. She smiled. "Grandma called." I couldn't speak. Then she asked something that shattered my heart. "Did she say I can come this year?" She already knew. She already knew there had been years they wished she wasn't there. I hugged her so tightly. "You are never the problem," she whispered. I know, but she didn't sound like she believed it. That night Daniel came home. I showed him the messages. His face went white. He called his mother immediately. I listened. Mom. Who? What do you mean they're disruptive? Who? They're my children. Who? No. Who? You owe Emma an apology. Who? No, I won't leave them home. Who? If they're not invited, neither are we. He hung up. I thought that was it. I was wrong. The next morning, Carol posted in the family chat. So sorry Daniel won't be joining us. We understand parents have to make sacrifices. The messages flooded in. Melissa, we'll miss you guys. Jason, maybe next year. Not one person defended my children. Not one. That hurt more than Carol's words. I quietly left the group chat. Then I opened my laptop. I stared at my spreadsheet. Every dollar, every favor, every appointment, every babysitting day, every grocery trip, every loan, every hour. I totaled everything. The number made me laugh. Not because it was funny, because it was unbelievable. Over the last 8 years, I had personally spent more than $94,000 helping Daniel's family, not counting thousands of hours of free labor. Then I realized something. They thought I needed them, when the truth was, they had been depending on me the entire time, for years, without ever appreciating it. So I made one simple decision. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to argue. I wasn't going to beg them to love my children. I was simply going to stop doing everything I'd quietly been doing for them. No more cleaning Carol's house. No more prescriptions. No more babysitting. No more interest-free loans. No more free accountant. No more holiday planning. No more emergency childcare. No more grocery shopping. No more fixing everyone's problems. If my children weren't considered family, then neither was I. I smiled as I closed the spreadsheet. For the first time in years, I wasn't angry. I was calm, because I knew something they didn't. Thanksgiving was still 3 weeks away, and they had absolutely no idea just how much their comfortable lives depended on the woman they had just excluded. The next morning my phone started ringing before I even finished my coffee. I looked at the screen. Carol. I let it ring. Then she called again. And again. Finally a text appeared. Emma, I need you to pick up my prescriptions today. They're ready. I simply replied. I'm sorry. I'm busy. That was the entire message. No explanation. No apology. Nothing. An hour later Melissa called. Emma, can you watch the kids Saturday? My sitter canceled. I'm not available. What? You always help. I know. So, what changed? You'll figure it out. I hung up. By Friday Jason texted. Hey sis, can I borrow another $800? I'll pay you next month. For the first time in years, I answered honestly. No. He immediately replied. Seriously. Seriously. Daniel supported every decision. Not once did he ask me to reconsider. Instead he smiled and said, I didn't realize how much you've been carrying until you finally put it down. Those words meant everything. For the first time in years, I wasn't exhausted. Then the consequences started. Carol forgot 2 medical appointments because nobody reminded her. Frank missed his blood test because nobody drove him. Melissa had to take unpaid leave from work because she couldn't find childcare. Jason suddenly realized banks actually charge interest. Within 10 days, the family group chat exploded. Melissa, why is everything falling apart? Jason, nobody helps each other anymore. I almost laughed. Nobody? No, I stopped helping. That was enough to make the whole system collapse. A week before Thanksgiving, Carol showed up at our front door. She looked tired. I invited her inside. She immediately started crying. I don't understand why you're punishing everyone. I looked at her calmly. Punishing? You're abandoning this family. I blinked. I thought my family wasn't invited to Thanksgiving. She froze. I didn't mean dash. You meant exactly what you said. She looked away. It was only one dinner. No, it wasn't. It was the moment you told my children they don't belong. Silence. Then she whispered, We were just trying to keep things easy. I looked toward the living room. Lily was helping Noah build a Lego castle. They were laughing together. Tell me, I said quietly, what exactly makes those two children so difficult to love? Carol couldn't answer. She left 20 minutes later, without an apology. Thanksgiving morning arrived. Instead of sitting around waiting to feel rejected, we created our own tradition. Lily wanted pancakes shaped like turkeys. Noah wanted dinosaur-shaped cookies. Daniel cooked while I decorated the dining room with orange leaves and tiny fairy lights. The kids laughed all morning. No stress, no judgment, just peace. Exactly what holidays should feel like. Around 2 in the afternoon, Daniel's phone rang. It was Frank. He answered on speaker. There was shouting in the background. Frank sounded exhausted. Your mother burned the turkey. More shouting. Melissa forgot the mashed potatoes. Someone yelled. Jason dropped the pie. Another voice screamed, where are the serving dishes? Daniel looked at me. I couldn't help smiling. Every year, I had organized everything. The menu, the shopping, the timing, the decorations, the cooking schedule. Without me, nobody even knew where to begin. Frank sighed. Can you all still come? Daniel answered gently. No. Another long silence. Then he said, I hope you all have a nice Thanksgiving. He hung up. That evening I posted one picture online. Just one. Lily smiling beside her wheelchair. Noah covered in flour after baking cookies. Daniel hugging both kids. The caption read, Home is wherever everyone at the table is wanted. I didn't tag anyone. I didn't need to. Within an hour, half the family had seen it. 3 days later, Melissa came over. She looked embarrassed. I owe you an apology. I stayed quiet. She continued. I never stood up for Lily and Noah. No, you didn't. She wiped away tears. I was afraid Mom would get mad. And I realize now, I should have been more afraid of losing you. That was the first genuine apology I'd heard. I accepted it, not because everything was fixed, but because she took responsibility. Jason was different. He stormed into our driveway the next week. This whole family is falling apart because of you. I folded my arms. No, it started falling apart when everyone believed kindness was guaranteed. You've changed. I have. You used to help. I used to be used. His face turned bright red. He never asked me for money again. Christmas approached. Carol called. This time her voice sounded smaller. I've been thinking. I waited. I was wrong. Still I waited. Then she finally said the words I needed to hear. I chose comfort over my grandchildren. Tears filled her voice. I am ashamed. I closed my eyes. That was the first real apology. No excuses. No blaming. No if you felt hurt. Just ownership. She asked, will you let me see them? I answered honestly. They'll decide. When I asked Lily, she surprised me. I want Grandma to come. You do. She nodded. But if she says anything mean, she smiled. She has to leave. I laughed. That's a fair rule. Even Noah nodded seriously. No yelling. No yelling, I promised. Christmas dinner was held at our house. Not Carol's. Mine. Before anyone sat down, I handed everyone a single sheet of paper. At the top it read, Family Rules. Every person at this table deserves respect. And nobody will be mocked because of a disability. If someone needs a quiet break, we help them. If someone uses a wheelchair, we make space, not excuses. Love is unconditional. If these rules are a problem, the door is right there. Nobody moved. Nobody argued. Carol quietly stood up. She walked over to Lily, knelt beside her wheelchair, and said, I'm so sorry I made you think you weren't welcome. Lily looked at her for a few seconds, then reached out and hugged her. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Even Jason looked down in shame. Months later, things were different. Not perfect, but different. People stopped expecting me to solve every problem. Jason got a second job and slowly began paying us back. Melissa hired a regular babysitter instead of assuming I was available. Frank learned to schedule his own appointments. Carol joined a local support group for grandparents of children with disabilities. She admitted she had spent years focusing on what my children couldn't do instead of appreciating everything they could. Most importantly, Lily stopped asking if she was invited, because she already knew the answer. Our home became the place where birthdays, holidays, and family dinners happened. Not because our house was the biggest, but because everyone who entered knew one thing: no child would ever be made to feel like a burden. Years later, someone asked me why I never screamed or sought revenge after Thanksgiving. I smiled. The best revenge wasn't making them feel guilty. It was showing them exactly what life looked like after they lost the person who held everything together. They thought they were excluding one woman and 2 children, and said they lost the heart of the family, and the only way they got it back was by finally learning that love isn't earned by being useful. It's given because you're family. And if someone can't love your children for who they are, they don't deserve a seat at your table.